can you talk about the opportunity and the responsibility of getting the game one start?
Yeah, I mean, game one just set the tone. Looking forward to being out there again, feeling the energy, and just giving my team the best chance to win.
Questions for Carlos? We'll go to Greg on your right, Carlos.
Carlos, what do you feel like you learned from the start during the ALCS or ALDS, just in terms of kind of managing those emotions and kind of using it to your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, if I look back at that start, the first 3 innings went pretty well. I mean, my stuff was there, it was pretty electric. And going into the 4th, I knew I had a tough at bat against Salvador Perez, who notoriously has done well against me and hits lefties really well. His numbers are pretty good, so I knew that at bat was coming up, and I think if I look back, we started him. The sequencing doesn't really matter, I guess. If I look back at that 4th inning, I was confident with what I had and what I was doing, and we had a 1-run lead, and I wanted to shut down that inning, and he made a good swing, and it kind of, I mean, it kind of brought me out of focus just a tick. You know, I didn't want to give up that run there, and I knew that at bat was important, and that game went tied. So it was kind of one of those things. If I look back and just trying to keep that focus and you know, I guess channel that energy a little bit better. So the focus stays on the field.
Go to Jack in the 3rd row on your right.
Carlos, this season you've talked a lot about the importance of expanding your pitch mix beyond fastball, slider. How much of that is decided in the bullpen? How much of that is decided once you get out there and see the way batters are reacting to what you're trying to do?
Yeah, you know, I think you're saying in terms of the bullpen before the game. Is that what you mean? Yeah. You know, those pitches really don't hold much value, because as soon as you get on the mound and that first pitch, it seems like everything changes. I think it's kind of what's working that day, and also, you know, we account for hitters' strengths and what kind of flows through in that bat, I would say. So I mean, usage, it'd be good to expand some usage throughout this next start. And although I thought we did a pretty good job last start, and there were some times for some more changeups, and you know, we talked about that, and I could have been better with, you know, being aware of the changeup instead of, you know, going to slider more often to put some guys away. But it is what it is.
Up on your far left,
Carlos, what are your thoughts on the challenge this Cleveland lineup presents for you?
Yeah, I mean, very, very good lineup. I've faced Cleveland before in the past. I didn't face them this year. As we know, Jose Ramirez is one of the better players in our game, so that, you know, that switch hitter is that's going to be a pivotal part of their lineup. I think they have some guy. I mean, Stephen Kwan hits lefties just as well as he hits righties, and puts together some good long at bats. I've faced him before. I mean, it's a formidable lineup, and it's very good. I mean, they wouldn't be in the ALCS for no reason. So I mean, it's going to be a fun challenge, and you know, a lot of respect for that Cleveland team.
Other questions for Carlos? We'll go to Bob on your right.
Carlos, I'm over here.
Sorry.
Some terrible things were said to your wife on social media after that game. So my first question is, have you guys worked past that, gotten past it? And second of all, have you ever considered, just considering there's so much garbage on social media, just deleting your account and sparing yourself and her the headache?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't look at it. I think Gary's the one that brought it up to me the night of. And I was kind of caught off guard. I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. And, you know, he explained it like you did. And I was like, well, you know, I mean, it's not the first time, nor it'll be the last time. I think Ashley and I spoke about it that night, and she said, and I quote, she said, I have thick skin, so I'm going to be okay. And she does. She's a tough lady. My wife, very tough, probably tougher than I am. So I mean, for me, on my phone, I have accounts, but I do not have social media on my phone, just so you guys know, for good reason, for reasons like that. So I don't look at it. Zillow's fist pumping. Yeah, and I think that's a good way to go about it, especially as the athlete. You know, I'll let my wife deal with that and let those people fight those battles for me. All the trash talk and all the fake accounts. So yeah.
We'll go to Chris on your left, Carlos.
Carlos, you have a near 50% swing and miss rate on your changeup.
Mhm.
What makes that such a dangerous pitch, and are you looking to use that more often with just the analytics on that pitch being so well?
I think you said it, 50% swing and miss. I think that's what makes it dangerous. I also think, the usage is not as much as fastball slider. So it's kind of a element of surprise to that pitch. They're not sure when I'm going to throw it. But they know I will. They're just not sure when it'll be deployed. Yeah, I mean, there's always, when you have a 50% swing and miss pitch, there's definitely some time. There's more times for usage of it. I'm not sure when that's going to come about, and I'm not going to give too much information because I'm sure people are listening to this.
Go to Gary up front.
Was there a particular moment or incident that made you stop checking your social media?
No, I mean, it's just every athlete deals with it. So I mean, it's part of the business.
And we'll go to Ron on your right, Carlos.
Looking back, given how amped up you were in the first few innings last week,
Yeah.
and the velocity was way up, was it hard to sustain that velocity throughout the whole outing? And then once there was traffic in the fourth, that got to you?
I wouldn't say sustain. I don't know. I'd have to go look back at like the velocity numbers. So I'm not sure how big of the discrepancy from the first to the fourth is. But usually, I start off, fairly tame with the velo wise, and then work my way up to the higher numbers later in the game. I wouldn't say that was a reason of why it kind of unraveled for me. And like I said, I think a lot of it had to do with, there's some times for some better composure. And I think it could help some energy levels for sure. But I think just staying composed. I watched Garrett the other night. I watched him very close and how he kind of went about it. And he goes 7, gives up 1, and every inning, there's some big outs there, probably in the 5th. I don't know. There was like a 1st and 2nd where he got out of a jam, and it's a 1-run, 2-run game, and every run matters. And I think he gives up the double to Vinny Pasquantino, and he's on second. He's 2 outs, and he gets out of that inning. I think that was that inning where the slide from Michael Garcia, and he got a little chippy. And you tell if you watch back, he gets a little pissed off, but he kind of just it keeps it in frame, and then gets back on the mound. They do end up scoring a run, but he keeps them to 1 run. And the biggest thing I saw from him in the 7th, he didn't react every inning. Like if you watch him come out, it's just like a robot walking to the dugout, and then at the end of the 7th, it's a big roar because he knows I did my job. And I think that's kind of one thing that resonated with me from that start.
Can you tell with him from pitch to pitch and inning by inning, just from his facial expressions, how he's feeling about his outing?
No. Garrett's a good poker player. Me, not so much. I need to be better at poker.
We'll go to Meredith on your right.
Hey, Carlos, just what are the next 24 plus hours like for you as you wait to get the ball in game 1 and prepare for getting the ball in game 1?
Like a rundown of my day, or mentally, or
yeah, are you a guy that's going to be thinking about it nonstop? Are you able to sleep? Are you able to compartmentalize it?
Yeah, it's definitely for me. It's sorry, can you say the word for me?
Compartmentalize.
Yes, thank you. I don't know why I'm struggling with that. No, for me, it's easy to put that away because I have 3 kids at home that I told Bo before I left. I said, hey, I got to go to work. He's like, oh. I said, I'll be back. We'll play. He's like, okay. So I made him happy. So I have a promise to hold up to. I got to hold up to my end of the bargain and probably play some sort of games when I get home. So I won't be thinking about baseball much tonight. So.
We'll go to Anthony, 3rd row on your left, Carlos.
Carlos, you showed some emotion, did some celebrating in that first inning
against KC. Do you feel like almost there's a double standard that if pitchers do a little celebrating on the field versus hitters, that it's not as accepted in the game? Not so much outside the game, but in the game.
I don't know how to answer this. People say stuff, as you know, and we all know that they said some things, and I don't know. If you strike someone out, you strike someone out. If you want to act a certain way, sure, go about it your way. If you hit a homer off me 900 feet, however far, if you want to flip your bat. I'm not going to, you did something good. This game's hard. It's not easy. So a little celebration is fine. I got a little amped up, in the first there, and I was definitely energized. I think, like I said, we talked about it. I think I can have a better poker face about it and just stay focused on the task at hand, because it is not only just one inning. It's 9 innings of baseball, and it is a 5-game series. So we are in the ALCS. Someone else is it.
When you say people, you mean the Royals?
Yeah.
We're saying stuff? Okay.
Good third row on your right, John, then Lauren.
Just kind of building on that point, I don't want to misquote you at all. I remember your first start in Houston this year. Your first question asked to analyze it, and you said something like, anytime we win, I'm okay with what happened. When is the postseason? Does that kind of emotion go on a series level? Like, does the fact that the team won change any of your perception of your own start in that game?
I'm sorry, one more time. I lost you at the perception. And
yeah, like whatever reaction you might have had after the fact.
Yeah. I'm sorry. One more question. One more time.
Whatever feelings you might have had about your own start, the fact that you guys have advanced, now you're in a new series, does that change anything about what you personally took from that start?
Well, it doesn't really. It can definitely help. There's some things, like I said, there's some things I could take away from that last start where I can be definitely more composed and learn how to figure out how to channel that energy into, staying focused and continuing it throughout the outing. But the biggest thing is we're here. We have a big series to play, and we all have a common goal. We all want to get to World Series and compete in the World Series and hopefully win one. So that's the biggest thing. That at the end of the day, it's just how do we win a baseball game. There's a bunch of nuances throughout the game, throughout 9 innings, throughout each inning. Whether it's yelling or whatever it is, that really don't matter. I think it comes down to win or lose.
One row behind, Lauren.
Carlos, I'm curious. You said that you watched Cole closely in his last start, and over here, sorry. And I'm just curious, who do you turn to for advice, whether it's in this room or elsewhere? Who serves as a mentor for you in these high leverage moments?
Yeah, Garrett's definitely a guy that's done it a few times. He is, has a very lengthy track record, especially in the postseason. He's got a lot of games started there. I think, Andy Pettit is around quite often as well, who's also has a lengthy track record in pitching in the postseason. So those are two guys that I can definitely lean on. Yeah, it just kind of goes back, some stuff I just talked about, and a lot of it's like how do you keep your composure through the start. At the time, I didn't think you don't think you're losing focus, or you don't think your mind's going in any other direction. And to me, it's not. But there's definitely, I can be better at that.
Finish up in the first row on your far right with Eric.
Carlos, you mentioned facing Cleveland before from your time in the AL Central.
Yeah.
This year's lineup, do they attack similar to past Cleveland lineups that you've gone against, or is their approach a little bit different than those past teams?
I don't know. I like I said, I didn't pitch against them this year, so I've watched them. I watched them yesterday against the Tigers and how they approached each at bat. I think they've got a couple more pieces than the past. Since I was in Chicago, and Lane Thomas, Fry's shown up in that lineup. Rocchio put some good at bats together. It's a little deeper than from what I remember in the past. It's good, like I said.
All right, Carlos, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.